Hello all, and welcome to the zoo.
Why am I here?
Minions of the Zoo is a lovable ragtag group of misfits that sprang up initially as a fan group to Ranting Monkey, Scribelite, Some Dumb American, and their joint Lords of the Night livestream show. Late night discussions in Discord quickly evolved into streams of their own, with each member bringing something new and different to the table for discussion. Led by the incomparable Rejekt PPC and the one-ton hammer, the group rotates hosts known as Zookeepers.
Hello everybody and welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your host for this evening, One Ton Hammer.
I will be your zookeeper tonight, Rejekt.
Alright, and welcome to the zoo. I am the TheLuckyPoptart.
Inquisitor, Sanguine.
Skep Tock.
I'm Prospero.
And I'm Delahazed.
Regular streamers, they're known as minions, and special guests are known as traveling exhibits. They're on a nightly basis, so that each show has something unique and fresh for our audience. Minions of the Zoo currently streams at 10:30 Central Standard, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Let's be xenophobic. It's really in this year. Let's find a nasty, slimy, ugly alien to fear. There's no more cutesy stories about E.T. phoning home. Let's learn to love our neighbors like the Christians learned in Rome. We know we ought to hate them. They're different, you see. We've seen they're mean and ugly on movies and TV. The folks that ought to know have told us how it's got to be. The gospel truth is found in scenes from Alien and V. Let's wipe out any life form that seems to be a threat. We'll serve them up a genocide they never will forget. 'Cause if we miss a couple, they'll breed a couple more. And soon we'll all be hating twice as many as before. You see, aliens can never be as good as humankind. A more delightful race than us you'll never ever find. So step aside, you star slime, we're ready for your worst. We know you want to beat us, enslave us and defeat us, oppress us and browbeat us unless we get you first.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the zoo. I am your zookeeper for tonight, Inquisitor. And my guests tonight are Mr. Adam.
Hello.
Eeyore.
Good evening and hello, everyone.
And JenTMaxi.
Hello, sorry it took me forever to mute my fucking video because it's stupid.
That's fine. How is everyone this evening? I am going to be working on some orcs tonight, trying to get my crusade force together.
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. You can see, according to the title here, we got new orc model. That's what's covering up the names of the people that are participating in the chat right now. That's the it's going to be the orc squig rider, orc on a squig hog. So that'll be interesting. Apropos, considering what I'm painting. So.
Alrighty, so it's a pig squid.
It's squigs are essentially like they're bipedal mouths given human form, or well, like animalistic form. They're weird alien creatures that are like lesser devolved beings of orcs. They're meant to be pack animals, work animals, and if needs be, a food supply for the orcs. And as that model will attest, they can grow to be quite large and fulfill other roles within the orcish society. Kind of interesting, but yeah.
Let's also not forget that that's not the largest a variation of squig can get.
Oh yeah, you got the gargantuan squigoth. You've got the regular squigoth. You know, squigs are come in various different shapes, sizes, and dispositions. So, and today I'm working on my bikes right now. I'm trying to get, like I said before, my Crusade force ready. And for those that are unaware, what a Crusade is in 40k terms is it's essentially a narrative-based 40k campaign. I'm trying to get all of my friends together, and we're going to record the Crusade and post it up on my channel. I think it'd be really kind of fun. And the army I've chosen to try and get done for the Crusade are my Orks.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yes.
Your Mad Max force.
Yes, my Mad Max Evil Sons Orks.
That was... I had to remind myself who trolled me yesterday. So I spent the day with Functional yesterday because it was his birthday, and
yes.
I was like, that's kind of sad being the Jewish kid whose birthday is on Easter Sunday. So I spent the day with him. I mean, it's not like I could visit my family anyway, because technically we probably could have, but my parents are so keen on not being fussed with by anything that they canceled all their holidays this year.
Yeah.
So, you know, they dropped off dinner when, you know, we saw, you know, I said hi, and, you know, we got little gift exchange, because we kind of still do that for our Easter, but but it was nice to spend the day with Functional, and for some reason every single time we would get into good jokey conversations, my brother would walk into the room. So between describing my dog, my parents' dog, and his ability to fetch balls, and apparently he thinks I have a thing against orcs, and no, I don't have a thing against orcs. I just don't think that the new Arc 2 game that's coming out makes any sense, because they inserted orcs into that, and I was just like, I don't have a thing against orcs, it's just storyline and plots. But if you're going to insert orcs into everything, let's just insert orcs into everything. I mean, if that's how you're going to go, I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, why? You know, why?
Sure, why not? Like, you know, like, just put orcs in anything. I you know what? I would do that for fun.
Why, Mr. Bond? Why?
That's right. When they make Birds of Prey 2, which I have no idea why would anyone in their God-given mind would think to do that, because the first one... Yeah, I didn't see the first one. I have no intentions of seeing the first one.
I am a Harley Quinn super fan, and I did not see that movie.
I was a Harley Quinn, at least, you know, at least for the original cartoon. I did love that cartoon. I still do.
Hell yeah.
You know. And she was legit my favorite villain, because she was silly and she was funny, and yeah, I did feel a little bit bad for her, because she was probably the most dedicated character to the Joker ever.
Well, she's a very one of the most sympathetic villains that DC has ever made.
But you know, they went so hard on this girl power thing that I was just like, I don't think you really know what girl power really is. Like, you know, girl power isn't going out and being a man. Girl power is surviving in the world, just like everybody else does. You're just a woman when you do it. You know, there's different things. Yes, we do face things differently from men, but you know, I don't have to live the world as a man to be strong. So yeah, I didn't care for the Birds of Prey. But yeah. Birds of Prey 2. Let's put orcs in that, because that'll make it better. That will instantly improve the quality of the movie. If you just insert orcs in every other scene for no reason, I will definitely go see that movie now.
So yes, the Crusade that I've been talking about here, essentially what that is, how you break it down and how to describe it, you know, to the layman, the person that doesn't play 40k. Essentially what a Crusade is that it's a series of games you play in Warhammer, but you also have the ability to upgrade your units like a role-playing game. And so, like, if you perform certain tasks during the battle, you gain experience for your troops to spend and upgrade them and make them better. Which is kind of cool. I never played a game like that. Every other time we've been playing it, like, competitive 40k. So I think it might be really fun to do Crusade. And that's the plan.
Yeah. So Mr. Yes wants to know if you have any plans to see the Suicide Squad 2. I haven't seen Suicide Squad 1 yet either.
I'm an apologist for Suicide Squad 1. I will be seeing Suicide Squad 2, yes. I think it looks pretty good.
Okay.
It's James Gunn. James Gunn is notoriously clever when it comes to movies like that. There's a reason why Guardians of the Galaxy is such a success. Jeremy Hambley be damned. I don't give a shit, Jeremy. You're a fucking hypocrite. Fuck you. I definitely plan on seeing it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
Someone's not a fan of Jeremy.
He's a massive hypocrite. Fuck that faggot. I don't give a shit what he thinks.
Yeah, I didn't have any shade for the first movie. I think the only reason I didn't go to see the first movie was honestly my resentment wasn't towards the movie itself, but it was towards the slutty girls who were obsessed with Harley Quinn.
Well,
yeah. She actually burnt the bridges with me in that movie, not because I don't dislike her. I don't even dislike Margot Robbie. I actually think she's pretty. I have no problem with her.
Yeah.
It was so over the place everywhere. Everyone had to dress up like Harley Quinn, and I was like, this is gonna make me vomit.
Well,
if I see any more cotton candy hair.
It's a misrepresentation of who the character actually is. I think overall, for the scenes that were about Harley in that movie, did a fairly good job of representing who Harley is. But
like I did want to see the interview that she had with the police chief. Like that scene in because they had that scene everywhere when they were introducing the movie. I did actually want to see that. Like I wanted to see the whole clip. But sorry, that was my favorite scene from what I remember of the movie that I didn't watch.
And like I said, I'm an apologist for that movie. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. There are some people, when I sit there and say it's not a bad movie, people sit there and say, oh my god, you think it's the best movie ever? Fuck off. No. I acknowledge its faults, but I'm not saying it's as terrible as you seem to think it is. Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie. I'll say this, even as an apologist for it, if you want a better Suicide Squad movie, see Assault on Arkham. That's just a better Suicide Squad movie.
I don't know how old Margot Robbie is, but the thing I've noticed lately with celeb ladies is honestly it doesn't matter how old she is. Within the next 10 years, she's gonna look twice as old. And I honestly feel bad for her because part of that has to do with the lifestyle. Like, the amount of times you change your makeup, as much as they keep that stuff as healthy for you so you can keep it, it's not. It just isn't. Not with the amount that they have to go through. And then also the amount of stress that she's like entered into the door for, I would not put that on my shoulders. It's like looking at people like Katy Perry and what's the other singer, the country one? God,
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. It's not to say that they're not pretty. It's just as they go along the road that they're going down, they're bitter. They're bitter. And bitter's gonna keep you single. And when you're single and you're bitter for that long, you get ugly really fast.
Well, ask what's her nuts about that. Shit, she for her, or she for him for her, whatever her fucking name is.
Rose McGowan?
No, the Harry Potter bitch.
Oh, J.K. Rowling?
No.
No. Oh, Emma Watson.
Yeah, there it is.
No, you're exactly right.
And I say because she put out an article saying that, essentially claiming that she's a female incel.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I laughed pretty hard at reading that one.
Well, I think she's coming to terms with the fact that she's dug her own hole. I'm not saying people haven't helped her along the way, because she's exactly like all the other celebrities that like surrounds herself with yes men. You know,
Yeah.
And yeah, they're gonna end up bitter and alone, and you know, you're either gonna have to face the fact that you're either gonna be willing to accept that the guys that you're dating maybe don't have as much money as you. Because I don't know if that's their situation. I've never really understood that one, but I understand that that's a female thing.
Well, I think that you'll find that most women like to trade up when they're dating. They like to date men that are more successful than they are. And if you are an extremely successful and very popular and very wealthy actress, your dating pool shrinks massively.
Yeah. See, and that's gonna be hard. I mean, I
have no sympathy, but yeah, it's probably is hard. But then again, women's standards are usually entirely too high anyway, so I don't give a shit.
See, I'm kind of glad that I'm a weirdo. You know, it's never been so much that he has to make more money. It's more of just I prefer that the guy be more in charge. That was really all it had to be with me. It didn't need to be about money. It was just I prefer a guy who's a little bit more in charge, because even though I can be in charge of myself, in terms of like situations, I prefer to have somebody else kind of direct things, you know? That has nothing to do with money with me, but I
see, Jen. You're just passing the responsibility, is what it is. We have to take all the blame. Things go plane-shaped, huh?
It's not about that. It's more to do with the fact that when I'm in an emergency... No, it's more of just knowing myself. Like, I've always, like, had that conversation with, like, other people in my life. It's like, when situations come up, I'm okay. It's just I prefer to have somebody in charge, because I can have a lot of great ideas, but if I were to fuck up, I'm like, no, thank you. Yeah, I am putting the responsibility on your shoulders. Sorry. You could be another female, and I'd still do it. It's not that I don't want to help either. It's just like, you know, nah. In case of a fire, I know to exit. I know to get everybody who's important to me in my wallet.
It says, if you are flammable and have legs, you are never blocking a fire exit.
Oh, believe me, the times I've kicked a cat into a box just so I could take her out of the building. I'm like, you little shit. I'm not leaving you behind to burn to death. Most people do that.
So I'm glad someone got it there, Adam.
Kefki!
Sorry, it's been quiet. Oh, sorry, what's up?
He was sadly taken from us far too soon.
Hell yeah.
Dude was a funny motherfucker.
I bet those poor ducks are still hungry over at that Subway.
I find that ducks' opinions of me is very much dependent on whether or not I have bread.
You know, too bad that doesn't work as stuffing them, like pre-stuffing them, you know, giving them bread. It's not like in Minecraft where if you hit them with a torch, you can cook them. God, that would be so warped. Yeah, that's right. If I get reborn into a new world and it's like some kind of deal with God that I don't necessarily believe in, he's like, well, I'll give you some special skills. Like, yeah, I totally want to be able to like hit things and cook them when I hit them.
Just don't get any fist fights with people.
Right?
You don't want to develop a taste for long pig.
Well, I don't necessarily have to eat it. Oh no, I'm not that bad.
Well, I was gonna say that's how you get a prion disease.
Nah. There's better things to ask.
That's just the brain and nervous tissue. The rest is just fine, technically. Yeah, but human is actually, according to others, gamey and extremely tough.
Well, Kuru is just from any human tissue, and that's a prion disease.
And Dantai's like, that's why it's a video game. I know it's a video game, man. I've just been reading far too many mangas lately, because like that seems to be the current genre. That's not to say like everything is the same. It's just there's been a lot of them. I kind of got mad at them because I was like, "Are you encouraging people to kill themselves? Because it sounds like you're encouraging people to kill themselves." I just
This
want
is
you
Japan.
to know.
They don't need encouragement.
I just want you to know, as somebody who is very much agnostic, if you die, you're not going to be reborn in Zelda, okay? You're not going to be reborn in Mario. You're not going to be fighting Goombas. It doesn't work like that. When you die, you're probably going to be buried, and that's it. If you're lucky, depending on what your culture does.
Super Mario Brothers.
Mario.
If you're lucky and I'm wrong, maybe God does exist, but chances are really good he's gonna be like, well, good luck, you're gonna be doing this all over again in the next life, so have fun with that.
And say if it were Terry Diamantis, he'd be hoping to go into the live action Mario.
Ooh.
Yeah. Pity him.
Alright, well, I'll pose that as a question then to you guys, like, just for the fun of it. But if you did die and get reborn into a game world, A, what game would you want to be reborn in? And B, what super skill would you really want?
I'm not sure I could really answer that one. I mean, I am so not up on the whole isekai idea. The last
You're
real,
not missing out.
well, the last real thing I ever really got into that could be classified as that would be .hack.
Okay.
But yeah, totally not that. And no one really had to die to do that. It was just, you know, your consciousness shifted over and you were trapped inside of a video game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I definitely wouldn't want to be 40K. As much as I love 40K, it's a very dark, dismal, and depressing setting. One where life is very, very cheap.
Mm-hmm. That's actually kind of the stories I prefer. The ones that I've been reading are the ones where, like, yeah, they appear in, like, medieval games, and they're just, like, all of a sudden they realize they're completely screwed. Like, yes, you do have a special skill, and yeah, you can function with it, but the sudden idea that you're going to be superior just because you come from a world with high technology when you're now in a world that doesn't have any of that.
Well, as you know, most people, even though they come from the high-end user end of technology, they don't know how to produce it. So, you know, you go into, you know, the thing that you can really point to for that would be something like Army of Darkness. But even then, Army of Darkness, you know, Bruce Campbell's character, Ash, had textbooks and things like that that could break down gunpowder, you know, in his chemistry textbooks. So he's able to follow it that way. But, you know, how many people are going to be going to this medieval world with their Oldsmobile filled with textbooks and their shotgun and chainsaw hand?
I think the closest thing to it that I saw, and I've seen it a couple of times, was people with cell phones. Because at least with the cell phone, you know, they made the deal with God that was going to be one of their special skills was to have a cell phone. They could at least use it to Google things. I was like, that makes sense.
But
that
where's the Google infrastructure? If they're caught in medieval times, a cell phone is useless.
It's connected to God. It's a God.
It's connected to God. My God
pod.
Google. My God Google. Okay, got it.
My God Google. It's basically the deal is like I just want to know that my cell phone can still be connected to everything back on Earth. Like I realize I can't do anything else with it, and God's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. This
Well,
is unrealistic.
What
Like,
happens? What happens at the end of the month when you need to make your bill? I mean, you don't live in that universe. You can't pay the bill. They're gonna cut your service off.
Well, God's a thief then, isn't he?
I'm just poking holes all up in this isekai right here.
Hey, they do say that the Lord cometh thee like a thief in the night.
Yes, and the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away.
Yep. You didn't pay your bill, so he's gonna take it away.
Yeah, right? We're repoing that fucking phone, bitch.
You are a week late.
Now, the other one I thought about as a possibility, and I got this from playing one of my other games because it was called. I've told this one to you about. I can't even speak my own fucking language, man. I've been playing. I was playing My Time in Portia, and it was kind of this world where, like, yeah, they've basically ABC'd really high tech technology because the world blew up, and they're just kind of recovering everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to pretend that my character is from this world. I'm like, no, I'm clearly a Canadian from Canadian land. Sorry. And I was like, well, if I was in this world...
I have the opposite sort of problem. Like, I identify really easily with the character I'm supposed to be playing in a video game. It's just that the scenarios in which I am placed tend to then now, with the, immersion... be completely nonsensical. Like there's a side mission. I love this side mission. It was great. Where you actually need to uncover and capture a serial killer in 1909 in Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, I find the guy. He attacks me with a knife. Right? You would think, holy shit, a serial killer who's like, eviscerating people, like ripping out their organs, cutting off their heads, like leaving mutilated bodies all over the place. That would be pretty fucking scary, right? I'm a motherfucking outlaw. I am armed to the teeth. I have a cowboy repeater, lever action rifle. I've got a fucking, bolt action, 307 sniper rifle. I'm armed with 2 revolvers. I have a fucking buck knife. I'm carrying a lasso that I can tie the motherfucker up with. I'm a born and bred fucking outlaw. I don't have anything to fear from this faggot trying to fight me with a knife. I don't. It's like, bitch, I'm an outlaw. I don't care.
It did get me thinking, though, like, well, at least if I was in that particular world, I'd go with the inventory space. Never-ending inventory space that doesn't cause you any kind of weight issues.
In something like Red Dead?
Yeah. Or anywhere.
What if you had, like, the magic bag, like Santa in Ernest Saves Christmas, where all you had to do is reach in and grab something, and then it comes out, and you're like, yeah, dude, this is exactly what I wanted.
Well, that's the nice thing of it.
It's funny because, like, I love looking at some of the stuff in Red Dead 2. Like, there's a whole bunch of upgrades you can get. Things like, you can carry more overall items with this satchel. Bitch, you're not limited in your inventory. The only thing you're limited in your inventory is the number of specific things you can carry. This isn't Resident motherfucking Evil with the shitty inventory system. This is like, if you need to carry more rabbit hides, but a rabbit hide does not take up more inventory space in your satchel. You can carry around one of everything that you can possibly fucking carry, up to a certain point. But all this, like, I've yet to run into an inventory limit that's actually limiting in that game.
Yeah, the reason I went with My Time in Portia for the inventory instead of Minecraft, Dante, is because My Time was limited by your funds. And the thing is when I was playing that game, like, the reason I went with the Canadian thing is because in terms of, like, the world and how it was running, they were really kind of suffering from the world had kind of just blown up. So, like, between being stupidly afraid of technology, ideology, and just pure ignorance, I was like, they've got this set up so that a 5-year-old could figure out how to make a plane. They literally have it set up so that a 5-year-old can figure out how to build a plane. And so I was like, yeah, listen, I'm still a Canadian citizen. I've never gone to an engineering school, but you've made it capable for me to make a plane. So I can carry that around in my inventory space. I can carry around an irrigation system in my inventory space. I can carry around tens of thousands of mountains of rock, sand, metal, plus all the other stuff I was talking about. So that's what I was talking about with this inventory space. Like, my character could literally carry a city around with her and not notice it. I was like, that's kind of like, if you honestly were living in a world where like everything's kind of blown up, and yeah, you're still kind of living on the same planet, but you can carry around a city in your pocket, that's kind of still badass.
Yeah.
I started thinking that too. I was kind of mad. I was like, I really wish I knew people who could do better mods, because I would totally do that. I would drop stuff on people. Like, if I was fighting you and I knew that you had no idea what a grappling hook was, and I could grappling hook myself up onto a town because you never thought to do that, and then I would do that, and then I would drop an irrigation system on you. Water wheel and all. I'm just saying. I'm kind of an asshole.
This is the stuff you think about.
That reminds me of some of the shenanigans you can pull in D&D, with like the handy haversack and the bag of holding and the portable hole. In older editions, if you put a portable hole inside of a bag of holding, I can't remember which one is which, but I'll act as though I'm knowledgeable and be able to say with authority here, even though I'm totally talking out my ass. But it was one of these combinations. It was between the bag of holding and the portable hole. If you put a portable hole inside of a bag of holding, it would explode and throw everything that was contained within the paradimension of each of those items out in an explosion radius, and also deal so much damage when the explosion happened. And then if you did the opposite, if you put a bag of holding in a portable hole, it would suck everything into the void of in an ethereal realm. It would just create a black hole and suck everything in. Nowadays, it's the only thing it does, for either one of them is it creates the black hole. But I like the other one where it would explode.
Okay, for some reason I had this image in my head of one of the Inuyasha characters, the monk guy who had that cursed black hole on his hand. And he had to wear a charm over the hand to keep it sealed when he wasn't using it.
Oh no, the portable hole, we're talking like Bugs Bunny shit here. It's
okay.
It's a hole that you can plop down onto a wall and then reach in and pull stuff out of.
Okay, yeah.
Like in
alternative space. I can't
Roger
remember
Rabbit.
the pronunciation of the
Roger
word.
Rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of weebs stole that too. They stole it from Bugs Bunny. They were like, there's times where the superheroes like, Power Rangers and Sailor Moon characters just pull shit out of nowhere, and you're like, where the fuck did you get that from? Your cleavage ain't that big.
Well, I don't know, Grenadier, they unequivocally show that she hides all of her bullets in her cleavage. So.
Okay, some anime characters have big enough cleavage, but Sailor Moon certainly didn't.
Well, Sailor Moon was 14 years old. She's not fully developed.
I know, right? She's right? So, like, where's she putting that damn thing? But no, seriously, like, there was a couple of animes where they were kind of doing that. Moroku. Yeah, Dante's like Moroku. Or the monk character. I've lost a lot of names down the line in terms of anime.
I never watched Inuyasha. I was way too old by that point.
It wasn't bad. It's just too long. It's one of those
Wow.
things where, like, if you can get somebody to make you a list of the episodes that are worth watching because they're relevant, you'd be better off.
The same author made Ranma 1/2, and that was much more my generation.
That one was fun. I missed that one, actually. That's kind of why I didn't mind Inuyasha, because, like, I mean, it didn't have the same sense of humor, but the guy's still funny. But Ranma was better. And then they've got this new one, and I'm just, I didn't really want Shishimaru to marry the little kid. I'm actually kind of horrified they went that route. I know she grew up to be an adult, but that still is just... I always saw their relationship as being platonic, not like that. Why Japan?
As far as a end state, I believe that is actually the best way that the arc could be tied up.
Forgot Eeyore was here.
And yes, I am well aware that I, in a roundabout way, sort of endorsed a 400-something-year-old demon and a 9-year-old kid.
Man, it's fiction.
Yes.
Honestly, it's also not that unrealistic. You know, it's one of those things that people make, you know, judgments on it, and it's like, well, listen, we didn't live back then, and, you know, my ancestors probably didn't go that young, but they were not that far off. And that's just the truth of it.
Oh, yeah, that's such a weird take whenever people start trying to invoke history in it. It's like, dude, yeah, well, we're also not wiping our asses with a sponge on a stick anymore, so, you know.
Well, maybe
so
you.
Are you Italian? Are you Italian? Because I'm thinking you're Italian
Whoa.
Yeah, no need to be calling anyone a slur here, alright?
Jeez.
I would go with that because I know that about the Romans. I mean, well, no, technically, if any of my ancestors came from the UK, they would have had those too, so... Fuck my life.
Actually, I saw a study that was not a study, but it was like a paper about how it wasn't so much that they used it to wipe their ass, but to clean the toilet, and they just used tissue, you know, just like a cloth.
Oh, you mean they didn't have a town sponge on a stick that they all used?
No, they used it to clean the toilets, and you know they had public shitters, but they still used like cloths and stuff.
Well, at least they were
Well, that's reassuring.
a clean society, which is more than you can say for Italians nowadays.
Oh, jeez.
Go to Venice and tell me I'm wrong. The place smells like a sewer.
I don't know. The way Indy says it, Venice sounds kind of romantic.
What? Riddle me this. Do you find it okay that a woman vampire, demon, etc. being with a boy male? I don't see a problem with it. It's not like there's not succubus for a reason. I actually get really mad about that. Because succubus are supposed to be female and incubus are supposed to be male, and I understand that they can be bisexual and all that blah 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 shit, but like, there's a reason why they indicated that they were different.
Well, they're supposed to be alluring to the opposite sex.
Like, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it, like the concept of it. I'm not into it, because I'm not a lesbian. I'm just not. So going from your perspective, Dante, I probably wouldn't be into it as much as you would be if that was your kink, but you know, I can understand it from the female perspective. It's not like I don't, you know. I actually pulled away from vampires though. You know, I used to be into them a lot when I was a kid because yeah, they do have a romantic kind of appeal to them.
Mm-hmm.
But then every vampire person that I met afterwards was like, the dude's gonna be a douchebag who's into beating up his women, and I'm like, you know, I liked Anne Rice's vampires. Like, they were brutal and they were evil, but they didn't necessarily do that. It was more of like, oh well, this vampire's into that. I'm into that, so let's be two vampires who are into that. so I pulled away from the vampire community. I was like, just because I'm into vampires doesn't mean I'm into S&M.
Honestly, I prefer space vampires, who are post-human genetically engineered super soldiers who, gain experience and wisdom of their enemies' movements by eating their flesh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a different take on it.
Other than the blood sucking and the, in some cases, attacking your own allies, I know that isn't from the specific chapter you're referring to, but that's the standard for all Space Marines.
Oh, about eating. Well, not every Space Marine has an active omophagia.
I know some gene seed lineages have had that atrophy to non-functioning.
The Imperial Fists and the Blood Angels are the only ones that, among the loyal Imperials, that still have it active.
That's not really my point, Dante. It's not that he married her afterwards. It was the fact that, like, he practically raised her. You know?
Well, that's a trope among storytelling for a long time. Is the father figure turned lover. That was in Lolita.
Mm-hmm. Like, I get that it can go that route. It's just I kind of hoped that they wouldn't. You know, like I kind of hoped that they would keep the relationship more pure like that. It's fine, you know, like if it works for the story, it works for the story. It's just, that's just kind of how I went with it. Like I just saw him more as like finding his humanity because he, you know,
he's raising a little girl.
Yeah. You know, but you know, like that's okay. That's just a difference of opinion. It's not like I'm not going to watch it eventually. It's just I want to wait to see how long it is, because if it's stupidly long, then I'm not going to bother. Because Inuyasha was absolutely 100% stupidly long.
That's most anime nowadays, anyway.
Ugh. I haven't really watched a lot of anime. Like I'll watch a little bit of something, or I'll start reading something, and then if it's really good, I'll come back to it. But
I've pretty much given up on anime for the most part. I used to be really into it in the early 2000s, you know, the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I think the last contemporary anime I watched as it was coming out was Panty and Stocking, and that was back in, 2010? And it was mainly because I liked it because it was a parody of American cartoons. I like to see the Japanese doing a parody of American cartoons, because we've got plenty of American cartoons parodying Japanese cartoons. So I wanted to see the other way around. Now, I wasn't disappointed. I actually really liked Panty and Stocking. I thought it was pretty great.
I don't mind that kind of stuff either, because the Japanese have a sense of sarcasm too. Like, even though they don't necessarily have it as a cultural thing, they are a little bit sarcastic.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, without even knowing it, they are.
No, I would say for them, there's even a strong cultural sense of sarcasm in Japan. It's just that it's not as celebrated there as it is in places like America. You know, growing up in the 90s, you know, the sarcasm was a way of life. You know, you had the Darias, you had the the Degrassis and stuff like that. All of that stuff had tons of, you know, wit and sarcasm, but you know.
Yeah, it was always kind of one of those things where I was raised with the knowledge that it was the lowest sense of humor, but for some reason it's the most fun, and to challenge
it's not the lowest. It requires wit.
It absolutely requires wit, and it's a challenge, and sometimes that's the fun of it. But it's also knowing who you're doing it with, because you got to know that the person has a good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fun to do it with people who don't have a good sense of humor, but it's, you know, it's just one of those things where I don't mind when somebody trolls me with it. You know, I've never had a problem with someone going over my head with their own sarcasm. It's just
I see Kefki there saying Trigun, Vampire Hunter D, Devilman, Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star is my favorite anime of all time. Kefki.
Yo, I love Outlaw Star.
Yep. It's the only anime I have gone out of my way to buy multiple times because I have it on DVD. Bought it originally in Suncoast back in the day, back when those existed. And then I also bought it on Blu-ray. So, I have it on both.
Yep, I've already complained about this before in Discord with Kafki before, but my other complaint lately with the anime is just, it really has to do with Funimation, and not just Funimation, but the guys...
Funimation.
But the guys putting out the anime, and I'm not meaning to throw shade at the voice actors, because honestly, it's not necessarily their fault.
Yeah, most voice actors suck.
But
I'll come right out and say it. I don't care.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Because the thing is like the last, so like I have been following the last, like I did this about a month ago where I watched 9 different animes, and yes, the genre was pretty similar. Like they were all fantasy, they were all different worlds, and they had the same voice actors for every single one of them. And all they really did was switch up the roles a little bit. And I'm like, I can tell that.
Yeah.
You've used the same people. And I can tell you that they don't have the talent to do that. They're not able to express different characters enough to distinguish from the last show.
In the 90s and 2000s, when anime was really ascending in its popularity, when dubs were becoming a thing, back when ADV was still a company, there was a stable of voice actors that like every company would draw from. So you would see a ton of parallel. And they still kind of do that, and some of those voice actors have become old guard amongst the voice acting community, like Monica Rial. As much as I don't really like her, she is pretty old guard when it comes to that. So the problem is that you need to find actors with range, and a lot of anime voice actors don't have range.
That's the problem. That was literally where my complaint was coming from. It was just that the people that you have doing this don't have the ability to do the range. Like, I can't distinguish them from character to character at this point, like, because these stories are very similar to each other. Like, that's the thing. They are very similar to each other. So I'm like, even between your voice actors, the stories, you might as well just have the same label on all these things. It's the same thing. You know, and yeah, I can agree with what you're saying, because I do remember that. Like, I remember the guy who played the character for Duo Maxwell, because he was in like 8 or 9 other different things. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I can remember his voice. Like, if he walked down the street, I'd be like, "Hey, it's Duo!" Hopefully I don't do that, because that'd be obnoxious. But he had range. You know, the guy had fucking range. So, like, even though I could tell his voice, I could still, like, okay, I could tell he was a different character.
I say there are some English actors also who I think are pretty okay.
Yes.
I really like Troy Baker. Troy Baker is great. He is one of the few actors, in my opinion, that has earned the right to play the Joker. He can do a really good Joker voice, and not entirely, trying to do an aping impression of Mark Hamill. He does similar to Mark Hamill, but he kind of brings his own flavor to it. Yeah. There's some actors that are great, and some that just should stick to the same sort of character that they play, and be typecast.
And just accelerate it. Yeah, and just be really, and just accelerate it. Because you can do that too. Yeah, I didn't know that about the Joker. Like, I've always known about Mark Hamill, but I haven't followed with the DC in such a long time.
Yeah, Troy Baker is the voice of the Joker in Assault on Arkham, and I think he did an amazing job.
Okay.
He also voiced.
I'll take a look.
He also voiced the Joker in Arkham Origins, that video game.
Okay. Yeah, I can always look that up on YouTube and see if I can catch a playthrough of his voice. Because I'm always fascinated with good actors. Like, I don't have a problem with range. It's kind of one of the reasons why I like the Japanese so much. And I think it's because I don't recognize their range as much as I do American. Or
It could just be
sorry, not
that
American.
you don't speak their language.
Exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. When I said American, I meant to say English. Oh my god. I should tell Drunkle that. But, yeah, because, like, it's not like their range is much different. Like, I don't doubt that they have similar, complaints. Especially
Well-
the females. I do admit the females sometimes get to me because they do use the same females too much.
I was gonna say, I think it's really kind of funny. You're sitting there talking about the stable of actors that American companies do. They're doing that for a reason, because that's what Japanese companies do. There's a stable of voice actors that like have a massive credit list because they're in everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how that's gonna go for Mayworld down the road. I mean, it could change. It's not like they don't have a plethora of people on the internet with talent that mosey through.
That's really interesting, because that's where a lot of voice acting talent, new voice acting talent, is going. One of my absolute favorite voice actors, Joshua Tomar from Newgrounds. He was in like so many Newgrounds cartoons back in the day, but he's been branching out and getting professional voice acting gigs. He was in the Final Fantasy VII remake. He was in just a ton of stuff. If you look up his credits, he's really branching out, and good for him. He's got a lot of range. Tomar is great. So it's really, really interesting and great to see some of these people getting their work. Brock Baker is another one. A lot of those actors that are getting a lot of work are coming from places like YouTube, which is really cool. And I heavily and heartily endorse that. Just so long as you get people like Monica Rial out of the business. Fuck her. she's the worst.
And not just her, like everyone who does that petty shit, like get rid of them, because there are so many people with talent out there. There's so many people who just want to open the door to these characters, and honestly, getting a little bit more range is not a bad idea. It really isn't. It's kind of the reason I pulled away from like a lot of things in general. It's just I'm so bored with the way our entertainment system has been. Like they really don't want to open the door to anybody, and it's kind of killed.
It's unfortunate.
It's killed the creativity.
A lot of the reason why that happens a lot of the times is because people are very protective over their business. I can't fault them, because this is their livelihood.
Nope.
If they don't get a gig, then they don't eat. So I get it. I do. I get the protectiveness, but at the same time, I like to see when new blood comes in. So, and there's some people that, in my opinion, should lose their jobs, like Monica Rial.
Oh, I agree with you. Not just her. Like I said, there's a couple in there that I'd like to see lose their job. It's not just her. And honestly, it's just I'm tired of it. Even with her, I'm just like, there are so many things she could have done. There's so many things she could have done.
Well, she's just a cunt.
Instead of being, instead of, I'm just gonna say what I think, but like, instead of lying about bullshit, you could have even just gone to your friend and been like, hey, I'm a little bit upset about the fact that they're advertising you over me when I'm supposed to be a main character. Can you maybe talk to somebody with me so we can maybe, I don't know, like I know I don't want to affect your job, but like it's kind of not fair. Instead of pulling some BS shit and ruining both her career and his, because she has.
Yeah, she's a backstabber. She's shown that she is not trustworthy, at least when it comes to No,
I wouldn't trust her at all.
No.
I mean, if I had to work, like if I was a professional and I had to work with her, I would bite my tongue and do it, but at the same time though, I wouldn't trust her. And that's a shame. Like I said, I don't pity the stuff that's come to her afterwards. I'm just saying she could have done that so much differently. And I hope she spends the rest of her life reflecting on that, because like I said, Vic is a nice guy. He probably would have helped her out. He probably would have helped you out, lady, if you'd just talked to him and been like, hey, you know, I'm struggling with this. I just don't think it's fair. Maybe it was a little bit sexist of Funimation to do that, because that's the thing. They were the ones doing it, not him.
Yep.
You know, he's just the name bringing attention to your anime, which they could do both. They could promote you and promote him at the same time. It's not like that's impossible.
Nope, it's not. I would say it's just that he was a bigger name because of attachment to things like Full Metal Alchemist and shit like that.
And she should have read that. She should have absolutely read that. That's what I would have done. You know?
Yep.
And she didn't. She went with me too, because that was so much easier to do. And it's not easier to do. Lying about stupid shit like that is never easier to do. Asking for help is easy to do. It's just, you have to bite your tongue and you know, be honest.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of the Achilles heel of a lot of people is nowadays, is being honest. So
sorry, I had to say that. That's what I felt. Yeah. Well, that's how I felt about the whole thing. The entire time I was watching them do that shit, and I'm like, you know, I heard that, and I was like, that's your real beef, really. That's your real beef, and I understand that. Like, I understand that it's hard to build yourself in this world, and I understand that, you know, sometimes you have to fight with other people on it, but you didn't have to fight with him in that way.
Yeah.
That's like high school. That's high school level of mentality. And no, I don't want to support somebody at your age in the anime community who still behaves like a high school kid.
Well, that's what it really is, right? Is that they develop these cliques, and you know, you're either part of the clique or you're not.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I felt about it. Yeah, I am on. Sorry. I would still rather spend time with Vic, and I would never hug the guy because you guys would twist it. I would love to hug the guy. I just never would because they would twist it. So, or if I did hug him, I would be like, listen, Jen consents to this.
You need to sign a waiver.
And that's sad. And that's sad. I would apologize to him too. I'd be like, world is like this because I would have hugged you with no problem before. And I'm not a touchy-feely person either. But I know the difference. You know, I know how to tell somebody, hey, I'm not really a huggy person. Can we limit it to one?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Most women are still not like that, guys. It's just I wouldn't trust the world right now. So
well,
if she's trying to hug you, be like do the hand waiver thing.
Yeah. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no square.
And the roboting. Am I roboting? I probably am.
I don't notice. If you are.
What would a Canadian robot sound like?
Eight. Eight.
About eight. Oh, a.
No.
I got to send smoke signals.
Danger A.
Show me on the moose where he touched you in the no square. Oh god. Oh no, don't do that.
Hockey.exe is not loading, eh?
Nope, not eight. Mind you, you're an American saying that, and the first thought when Americans talk about hockey is that one time in history when you guys forced us to highlight the hockey puck. I'm not saying it was necessarily you, Quiz, but it's just we were like, what you? And we were all confused, like, what the fuck is with the why are you highlighting them? What, you need to highlight it?
I was able to follow it, no problem, but you know, I guess some people.
I don't blame all Americans. The thing with the people who blame all Americans is they forget that America has like a shit ton of people in there. You can't blame them all.
Well, there's no monolith in America. There just isn't.
But I mean, we can blame the rest of you for not, like, you know, controlling the other half better. Well, yeah, okay. We can do that.
That's a good point. I think people would balk at American people would balk at mandatory leash laws, though. You know.
I'm saying that as the irony, you know, because like I should be doing that too, like foot and mouth syndrome, like pot calling kettle black.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about you and all those people talking about how violent Jordan Peterson is? Come on now, it's not just us.
Oh god, it's just so sad. He's like the nicest guy, you know. Like watching his shit made me kind of regret not going to college, because if it was just to go to his classes, I probably would have, because at least he would have taught me how to think more, you know, to actually like think things through more thoroughly, because that's basically what he does, is he just teaches people how to actually think things out. Yeah, I hate what they've done to him, but honestly it's their own fault that he's become more popular. It really is. You know, and every time they try to put another nail in his coffin, more people are trying to raise him up. And I'm like, oh well. Oh well, at least he's doing better than he was the last time I heard about him.
I'm gonna say last I heard about him was that he was taking a whole bunch of time off because his wife had cancer.
I think he's doing something on Spotify with somebody else now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like he's got a show that he does, but he's still taking it easy because he was still kind of in recovery. But the one thing that he talked about on the Twitter that I haven't heard about since, and it hasn't happened yet if it hasn't come up again, but he wanted to do a talk with Elon Musk, and I was like, hell yes. Please do. Talk about anything. It was still interesting.
Oh yeah, didn't he tweet at him about that?
Yeah, like he just, Jordan Peterson was like, yeah, hey Elon Musk, if you ever want to come on my show so we could talk about stuff, that would be interesting as hell. And Elon was like, well, what would you want to talk about? And Jordan was like, anything you want. It would be fun, and regardless.
I'm sorry. I was just laughing at how Canadian you went there, Jen. Yeah, hey, you want to come on our show, eh?
I'm sorry.
I was just thinking, about the Canadian robot.
Once it started,
I need to repeat it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just thought it was funny. That's all.
But hey, you know, Jordan Peterson's Canadian, so you're fitting the role.
He's technically from my province. I keep rubbing that in every time I talk to Functional. I mean, like, yes, he did move to Ontario and he lived there for the majority of his life, but I'm like, yeah, he was ours. So it's just one of those things where I knock Ontario, not necessarily people from Ontario, because they think that we're all Yanks out here. And I'm like, no, we have some pretty good universities and colleges too.
What's wrong with being a Yank? Huh?
I ain't a Yank. It's just they treat us like we're Yanks. And I'm like, we're kind of a little bit. I mean, we do the hillbilly and other stuff a little bit.
Well,
but
that ain't a Yank.
we're not really. I know, right? I don't know. This is Ontario.
I say Yanks are Northerners. They were the Union in the Civil War, not the Confederacy.
I know. That's the thing that's confusing. Yeah, that's the thing. My province has been labeled as like Cowtown since I was a child, and I've always been like, are you serious? Because at that time in my life, my city was #2 for biggest capital in the world for oil companies, like where the businesses would have their meetings, that kind of shit.
Need to go back over the red on a couple of bits and the brown, and then we do some of the brass.
Oh, it's looking good now.
And I say it always does when you get more and more paint on it. Is the whole thing. I tend to get discouraged when I see big old white areas, and then after it starts filling out more, I'm all like, oh my god, it's looking so much better.
Well, it's also like the little layer things that you do that just kind of makes the detail come out, because sometimes it's just amazing how much that does.
Mm-hmm. I say, and another reason why I really like to say that I like to low light down rather than highlight up is because if you look at the color as it stands right now before any shading is put in, it's very, very bright, very vibrant colors. I tend to do that because I know that it's going to darken when I put on like inks and so on and so forth. So.
Yeah, I really gotta get an art project on the go. It's between not being a fat ass and actually getting a hobby on the go, because I was trying to get a job and I was gonna make that my hobby for a while. And that hasn't happened yet, so I still have to hunt down a job.
Yeah, neither have I, unfortunately. I'm still trying.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I still gotta try. I mean, I had so much hope last month, and like I said, 3 interviews was enough to taunt me and think, oh, I got something on the go. But I can't wait for this place, thinking that they're gonna happen. And it's almost spring, which means I can actually get out and walk again.
Well, I hope something comes for the both of you, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, believe me, if I could get off government's teat, I'd be happy. I mean, sure, I'm gonna end up feeding back into the system, but at least I'll have something to do.
Well, I don't know how you guys do it, because I've been out of work for a month and I've been going crazy.
Same. Well, more than a month though. I've been out of work since January. You want to talk about survivability, Adam? It's mainly because of the COVID fun bucks. As much as I would love to spend that on Warhammer, I've been using it to pay bills.
Damn. Yeah, no, I've been getting close to having to sell some old systems and shit just to pay. So I went back to work today.
Don't you do that?
No, well, if I were to listen to my doctors, I would have to. They want me out of work for months. But I went back to work today, and even though I couldn't do a lot of work, I was still able to, at least get some hours in and shit,
Oh, that's good. That's
good. Yeah. And it was nice to be able to not feel depressed by just sitting on my ass all day. I was like, shit.
Well, I'm fairly lucky in the fact that I've got other things to occupy my time. I don't feel like I'm sitting on my ass while I'm at home. It's just that my problem is I'm not making any money.
Yeah, well, it was that, and if I could use my right arm, it would have been somewhat decent, but not being able to write or draw or anything really sucked.
Yeah, I hear it, man.
See, it was fine before when my computer situation was functioning, because at least then I had something to do, because I was at least streaming games. That was kind of one of the things that I was doing as a hobby, and I put an end to like the Canadian talks. Like between Functional and I, we both talked about it yesterday, because I told you I spent the morning with him. And it was just, between the two of us, we were like, if we'd spent the entire year focusing on our politics up here, we would both be probably nutty. In all honesty, it's so depressing up here. It's really just you can't focus on it the entire time. Not to the extent that we were doing it. It's one thing to throw an article at Lords of the Night every once in a while, because some of the shit that's been going on up here has been so cuckoo. Like I'm sure you guys saw the mosque video, the church video.
No.
No.
I saw the Polish church video.
Yeah, Polish
I didn't
church.
see the Husk video.
That's basically what it was. It was a Polish church saying that like they just kind of came in without a warrant when they were in the middle of a sermon.
Oh, that the
and-
Easter gathering one. Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember seeing that on.
Yeah, that was in my. Yeah, that was in my city. That's not the first time shit like that's happened. And I mean, we're not nearly as bad as some of the other provinces. Like, I don't know all of what's been going on in Quebec because I don't speak French. I don't know. But they've had it even worse. If I focused on that all the time, honestly, I don't think I'd be half as friendly and cheerful as I am right now, for sure.
There was another Canadianism there, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
Chili for sure.
Yeah, when I start thinking of Canadian talks, I start thinking of Mike from Canmore. I'm Mike from Canmore. Eh?
Yoy.
Eh? Yoy.
Doing chili for sure.
It was... the guy who was interviewing me too was, So he's very native, and yeah, he'd have the accent, and I was like, bro, I love ya, but if I hang out with you for too long, you're gonna get me in trouble. He's like, I know. That's why I thought I had a win, because the guy was like, yeah, I knew you from like another job, but yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where I grew up with natives, kind of how my city was. That's why whenever Ontario starts beaking at me and I'm looking at them like, listen, I might not hang out with every native just because like I'm not a weirdo. I don't specifically hang out with people because of their nationality or like who their ancestors were, but a lot of kids that I hung out with were native, and honestly we just didn't give a shit.
Well, man, yeah, there was a meme that I saw the other day on Twitter that it really kind of hit me. It was the whole anti-racist versus colorblind, and it's so strange to me when people sit there and say, oh, I'm anti-racist, and yet they focus on race, whereas they sit there and call people that sit there and say, well, race isn't really all that important to me. I just treat everyone the same. You are so racist. Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell is your problem?
I think that's the irony of it. It's like, oh, you're colorblind. I'm like, no, I'm fully well aware of the fact that this person doesn't look like me. It's just that I don't care. Yeah. I do not care that they don't look like me.
It matters less than nothing to me.
Like, that has nothing to do with them as a personality. Like, the reason I hang out with them is because everything else about them, like, do I have to tell you that I like you? Like, do I have to tell you all the list of things that I like about the person? Because that makes it weird and awkward. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't go up to my friends and be like, yeah, I like how you look, man. You look cool today. Like, that's weird. I mean, unless it's a special occasion. Like, if you're dressed up nice and, then yeah, of course I'm gonna level compliments at you, just cheer you up and, confidence boost you, but I'm not gonna do that every day. Yeah, they're weird. They're fucking weird.
I just don't get it, man. I really don't get it, because I've treated no one any different because of the color of their skin. It makes no difference to me.
Unless you did something stupid. Like, I knew kids who would put, like, marker on their face. Yeah, well, now I'm laughing at you.
Well, what kind of marker on their face are we talking? Are we talking like blackface? Or are we talking like drawing, going up to someone who's passed out at a party and drawing a cock on their face? I mean, I'd do something like that.
Yeah, I never did any of that stuff. I always just pull out his favorite story about this one time at one of his friend's house, and it was a girl, and she went to sleep first, and they found out that her dad had hair in a can. So she ended the night as Sasquatch. I have no idea how to remove that kind of stuff. I imagine she had fun with that, but I'm sure her dad was pissed, because my understanding is that stuff is expensive.
Oh yeah.
Come on, hair in a can. That's real?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. Have you never seen those? Like, they're infomercials all over the place for Hair in a can.
I've seen infomercials, but I always thought it was just one of those gag type things. Like,
No, it's real.
get out of here.
It's real.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's some dudes that are so insecure that they are willing to spray paint their head, their bald head.
Is it really just spray paint?
Yes.
Because that's what I mean. It's like it looks like when they spray it, it looks like it's like there's little hair follicles and shit. And I'm like, that's not real.
They're not spraying on hair follicles. They're just spraying on color.
Spray paint? Oh my god.
Yeah. Like I'm bald. I don't give a shit. I don't care, man. I'm not gonna sit here and try to cling on to my youth by fucking spraying my head with spray paint. I paint miniatures. I don't need to paint my head.
It's all about how you go about it. Like if you're combing it over, you're probably gonna get the looks. Like, man, just shave it off.
Yeah. I just buzzed my head today, so.
You know,
at that point, it's just a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You're lying to people.
You know, it's just some people end up with thick hair all their lives, and some people don't. And to be quite frank, guys, the girls actually have it too. It's just that, let's be real.
Oh.
Females have far more products than you.
You wanna get bring women into this? Women are the reason why. I'm not sure if you
pull your hair out.
Well, no, that too, but no. The genetic markers for male pattern baldness are inherited from your mother, not from your father.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you guys, but a lot of women lose their hair a lot sooner than you think. It's just that we have more products than you.
No, it's you know, if you're dating a girl and you meet her father, and her father is bald, you know for a fact that you will have bald children.
Yeah, I'm a hit and miss because unfortunately I have no idea what my birth father looks like. I only know what my adoptive father looks like, and he has a full head of hair, so that's a lie.
Oh man. The boyfriend's like, oh yeah, full head of hair.
I mean, my dad has thick hair too. Like, he has super thick hair. I've always envied his hair. And my aunt, I think she might, like, I think between my dad and my aunt, they might have a little bit more native blood in them than they think. But, like, her hair is, like, super duper thick and, like, curly.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because of her kids, because, like, she ran away to Montreal and had 2 kids with a black man. And I love them very much. So when people are like, you're racist, and no, I don't point at my cousins, but I'd like to, because I'm very proud of the fact that they're my cousins. And it's not because they're black, it's because they're fucking awesome. But kids. Yeah, they're good kids. But the thing is as they got older, rather than looking more black, more native,
no,
they really do. So we kind of think that the native has kind of come out more on my mom's, or like my aunt's side because of it. I one of these days I think they're gonna talk about that kind of shit because they've both done the 23andMe, you know, ancestors shit. And I think my aunt discovered more on her on her side than she talks about. Because she went full-blown, like, into native shit for, like, 4 years. And she's like my dad in that sense. Like, they're the 2 type of people who will go and look into stuff and then never tell you about it until, like, I'm gonna pull this out of a hat!
Yeah, straight out of nowhere sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of went really heavy into it. It's kind of a thing that I'm sure a lot of people in here can appreciate, that as your parents get older and they get closer to the end of their life and they're like, I don't know where I'm from.
Yeah. No, see, my mom did that way before she started getting older. She did that in her 30s and 40s, but then again, she was also part of the LDS church, so that was kind of one of the things that she just did for the church.
Yeah, see, LuckyPoptart agrees with me. Yeah, women do go bald. We do. It's just we do have more to hide it. It's just
Well,
we're
if you're a Germanic woman, that's fine because you'll grow whiskers on your face like Wolverine.
Yep, we do. It keeps you warm in the winter. Actually, a lot more women grow hair on their face than they own up to.
Oh yeah.
Asian women, on the other hand, I don't see it as much with Asian women. They're lucky that way. I'm not saying they don't get it. It's just if they do, they're better at hiding it. Your ladies are very good at hiding it. I'm gonna figure out your secrets one of these days. But yeah, all women have it. We all do. And honestly, if she's got whiskers, it's probably, I'm gonna give you guys a tip, something that you might not know. But if she's got whiskers, she's probably wanting to bang a lot.
Oh yeah.
What?
Hormones and shit,
Because
dude.
it's a sign of hormones. It's a sign of hormones.
And if you see slightly raising, all of a sudden you know she's in the mood.
It's just they grow faster. That's just kind of they do. It's yeah.
There's a smell in the air, and her whiskers are standing up.
Whiskers are straight up, right attention.
And you've pretty much just caught her on a date where she's just not paying attention. That's pretty much it. Because you check every day. You're supposed to check every day. You have to check every day. Because, yeah, sorry.
Gotta check them whiskers. Gotta check them whiskers, ladies.
You're
sending out the wrong signals.
That was the most embarrassing conversation I'd ever had. Because I thought I was alone. Like, I was sitting there, like, like, I'd hit 33, and I was like, God, I'm old. I'm 33, and I'm looking at this girl who's like 25. I'm like, do you ever get hairs on your face? And she's like, yeah, all the time. I'm like, oh, thank God. I thought I was just ancient and old and a boomer.
I love how boomer has become this thing that we just call people who totally are not boomers.
Anybody older.
Yeah, anyone
Just
who's old
anybody
older
older.
is just a boomer.
To be honest,
Yeah, dude, I was called a boomer the other day.
to be honest, the best one for me was telling people that Madonna was a boomer, because she is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll say, Adam, someone called you a boomer because you are a fucking boomer. God.
I'm technically in the weird gray space of millennial because I'm caught between Gen Z or your Gen X. And,
Yeah, say I'm in the weird space between Gen X and millennial as well.
yeah, so.
Well, again,
you know what,
I think it's so strange when people who classify millennial put people who were born in 1999 in the same group as someone who was born in 1984. Are you fucking kidding me?
I know, right?
I was
know,
16
right?
when they were born. Are you telling me I have literally anything in common with them? Entirely
That's
different
what
experiences.
confuses me. That's what confuses me. I'm like, I'm sorry, my generation was the kids that were caught up between playing with their elder siblings' toys, if you had them, or you were playing with the younger generation's toys, and you were always kind of stuck in the middle because you were either playing with toys that were maybe a little too old for you.
Stuck in
or a
the
little
middle
bit-
with you.
That sort of thing is
Oh shit, that was a
pretty
boomer song. Oh shit.
Yeah, fucking boomer again, Adam. God damn it.
It's boomer showing.
The boomer showing. Okay, so I think that experience is pretty ubiquitous, Jen. What the real sign is the fact that someone who was born in the 80s remembers a time before the internet. Even someone who was an early adopter of the internet remembers a time before the internet.
That is absolutely the truth. Heck, I even remember when cell phones didn't have cameras.
Yeah, I remember a cell phone when you had to have, prepaid cards that you had to dial in and apply time to your card, and the phones were as big as your hand.
Yeah, the boxes, yeah. I remember when you had the phone cards for, like, the street phones. Do you remember those things?
Yep. Oh, God. I remember having to have a pager. And say someone born.
Hey, we gotta stop. We gotta stop this boomer talk. They're getting antsy.
They're getting antsy in the yeah. But I mean, like, you know.
Hey, don't worry. We'll give you some of our Werther's candy.
Yeah,
soon.
right.
I think I got some in my pocket.
I got some butterscotch, so that's fine.
Wait, do they have those in Canada? What do they eat in Canada?
Yeah, we do. We have Werther's. Yeah, we have Werther's.
Wouldn't it be a coup to learn that Werther's were made in Canada? I don't think they are, but yeah. I don't think they are, but yeah.
No, I think they're actually. I always wonder about that because there are some stuff that's been made up here where you guys claim it, and I'm just like, I don't remember. I don't know. I know that we claim ketchup chips and coffee crisp.
The fuck are ketchup chips?
Ketchup chips are chips that are dipped in a ketchup powder. It's supposed to be like French fries with ketchup.
Did you just say French bread and ketchup?
French fries.
No, French fries.
Oh, I was gonna
Sorry.
say like French bread, like the stuff that you cook it with eggs and shit, and then you put ketchup.
Well,
what the hell is going on up there?
That's French toast, Adam. That's French toast.
Oh yeah.
No, and
yeah. Oh, French bread. Yeah.
Sorry.
But no. But no, the fucking that's gross sounding. Ugh.
Yeah, either way.
It's kind of hit and miss. Like when you're a kid, they're like the best thing in the world. But now that I'm an adult, when I go to eat them, they're gross because ketchup has a lot of sugar in it.
Well,
so it's like
sour.
super sweet and super salty. Yeah.
Well, hold on. That's fancy ketchup. Apparently, down in Texas, they have something called spicy ketchup.
Oh yeah. We have that up here in Illinois, man.
Do we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got that too.
Yeah, we do. And say any supermarket has it. You just gotta look for it.
Oh man, I don't want to look for it. You could go wear a mask and walk around people and shit. That's weird.
Yeah, I know, right? God. Well, I'm pleased. I got a lot of work done here. I think it's about time we close the zoo up. But yeah, I'm pleased with the amount of work that I got done on the bike here. So, hell yeah.
We'll put it to view.
And I say this is the gun that actually goes right back here.
My system is so slow.
So, hell yeah. So I just need to do some touch-ups, a couple more colors, and finish all the caps on the wheel, and we'll be good. So sorry I didn't talk more about Warhammer, but you know, it's fine. Not all of this discussion needs to be about Warhammer, but yeah, I say look forward to eventually on my channel. I think one of the things I do kind of want to do is I want to do a Crusade campaign on my channel. So fuck yeah.
Okay.
Alright, everyone. Well, thank y'all for coming out to the zoo. I've been your Zookeeper, Inquisitor, and be sure to check out tomorrow night where Skep Tock is the host. And yeah, the zoo's closed. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys.
Love y'all.
For the record, if you're going to try Canadian good, go for the coffee crisp, because that's basically like a big chunky, what's it called? Kit Kat. Looks like coffee flavoring.
Okay.
It's basically a big chunky cat with coffee flavoring.
Right.
Alright. Bye, everyone.
Sorry, I had a moment where it was like